Yo, 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 it's time for the Rumble. I'm your host, Jacques Slade, and this is the BAIT Attack on Titan Adidas Consortium Ultra Boost. So let's give our hearts and check out what is one of the most intriguing new Ultra Boosts in a long time. Okay, so let's start with the inspiration behind the sneaker. So BAIT teamed up with Japanese publishing company Kondasha for this Ultra Boost, and it's based on the hit manga and the anime series Attack on Titan. The shoe is an homage to Colossal Titan, arguably the most visually striking and disturbing character in the entire series. If you've only heard about Attack on Titan casually in short clips or memes, the Colossal Titan is the one that I would say immediately grabbed your attention in a, oh wait, what the hell is that giant monster with exposed muscle tissue and bones? Please get that away from me kind of way. Speaking of exposed muscle tissue and bones, this new Ultra Boost looks like it was designed with the Colossal Titan's feet in mind. The bone white accents have slightly colored spots and raised edges, particularly around the three stripes, to give it I would say a rougher feel, like it was just done stepping on the citizens of Eldia. You even see chips of the bone white paint on the boost cushioning, which is dope. Not sure if that's anatomically correct, but we'll let this instance of creative freedom slide since we are talking about a 60-meter tall behemoth. The blood red knitted and raised 3D upper here and the boost sole is a step above what you see in your typical Ultra Boost. Upon closer inspection, the varying shades of the deep red flow organically throughout the shoe. The shoes come packed with alternate laces, so you can switch them up if you're feeling bloody or bony. I need to work on that phrasing. Anyways, we've also got the BAIT logo on the tongue on the right shoe and the Adidas logo on the left shoe. And finally, the insoles. Now, they include art from the manga featuring the moment when series protagonist Eren Yeager tried to take on the Colossal Titan for the first time. I gotta say, with the manga already completed and looking at where we are now in the anime, that artwork hits a lot different now than it had if this shoe would have dropped a few years earlier. So the character the Ultra Boost is referencing is pretty obvious at first glance. Well, at least it was to all of us here at the studio, but we did see a number of people who didn't click with the idea right away on social media. I think you can look at it in one of two ways. It's great that the shoe isn't blatantly an Attack on Titan shoe, so even a casual sneakerhead can get away with wearing them without needing to have a working knowledge of the show, or it doesn't go far enough in establishing a connection to the show. There's cases where I prefer the latter, but for this collab, I don't mind that it's not obvious at first sight. Like, if you know, you know, and if you don't, well, that's fine too. I don't know how I would feel if this was a Speed Factory AM4 sneaker and the artwork that was used on the insole was printed all over the upper. I would prefer to see a different Ultra Boost or another consortium, there's that word again, release that subtly references Levi and Hanji's squad. So, how did such a sneaker get like the premium treatment and also the premium pricing at $220? Well, Ultra Boosts have long been at $180 or $190, but every so often you will see a pair that retails for over $200. The answer more often than not is that it's a consortium release. See, Adidas has this premium brand for a select number of their collabs. Not to say other non-consortium collabs are less than, but you can tell that Adidas and their partners go the extra mile to make these particular releases feel special. Some noteworthy consortium releases through the years include the SNS Tea Time Ultra Boost that co-writer kicks himself for missing out on, and Curran Frost's attention-grabbing Forum Highs. BAIT recently worked on Adidas consortium sneakers for other iconic pulp culture brands like Street Fighter, solidifying their role as I would say a sort of intellectual property middleman that pitches collabs that you really never saw coming. And there's a reason for that. Here's the thing. You don't often hear about triple threat collaborations because they are hard to pull off. Usually it's one designer or one celebrity or one top level boutique working with Nike or an Adidas on a sneaker where they are both getting top billing whenever they are mentioned on blogs or an IG post. Sneaker culture might roll their eyes today at the number of collabs that come out, and they certainly do have the right to do so because there are a lot and it can be annoying trying to keep track of all of them. But what they don't see is the struggle to get any of this out to market. It is a constant back and forth of approvals and suggestions and notes that causes projects to stall or even die on the vine. So adding a third party to the equation only heightens the difficulty, and somehow BAIT has pulled it off, and quite nicely. They have their own set of straight up collabs with Adidas and ASICS that don't involve an anime or a film franchise, but if you hear about DreamWorks and Diadora releasing a 6 sneaker pack that indirectly references the 2016 Copa American Soccer Tournament, you know that's a BAIT joint. They just have a knack for bringing together properties that you never imagined would work or even make sense. Like, I remember one of the first BAIT sneaker collabs that I ever heard of, and it was the G.I. Joe and New Balance back in 2014 or 2015. 2015. It was for a pair of sneakers featuring two fan favorites, Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes. Team Storm Shadow, obviously. But anyway, it sounded like a weird idea, but Bait made it work. For them, the collaboration was always the point. When they first opened back in 2011, it wasn't just a store for sneakers. They had apparel, toys, and other collectibles that coexisted and occasionally teamed up like a big summer comic book crossover. Like, when you were a kid, chances are you dreamed of owning a store that had all of that stuff with none of the aura of pretentiousness or self-important hype. But with that kind of sway, well, that comes with a lot of responsibility and headaches, I bet. I can only imagine how rough the approval process must be when they work with, say, a Disney on a Reebok Instapump Fury featuring one of their biggest cash cows, Toy Story. Not to mention dealing with the intersection of sneakerheads and Disney superfans who desperately want them. Bait has a history of anime sneaker collabs, especially with ADIDAS. They've released 3-stripe sneakers featuring other popular current anime like One Punch Man and classics like Initial D. A collab that opened a lot of eyes and wallets a few years back was the Dragon Ball collection that included a box puzzle that required you to buy all of the sneakers to complete it. And if you're the completionist super fan, that was a pretty expensive puzzle to finish. Thankfully, there's nothing like that with Attack on Titan, as you can see from the regular old Ultra Boost box and the lack of other sneakers in this capsule. I can't even imagine how tall that puzzle would be if the final image was a Colossal Titan with the Armour Titan and Female Titan were side by side, and Eren, Mikasa, Armin, Captain Levi, and the rest of the Survey Corps were zipping through boxes trying to... Okay, let's not spoil their weak spots, what they are in this video. The Ultra Boost, it takes its cues from the manga. It was the anime that exploded into pop culture. From the first episode, you were immediately hooked and asking questions like, why are Eren and his friends stuck behind these giant walls, and what exactly is outside of those walls? You get an answer to both of those questions from the jump in the most brutal way possible. It's not gory and gross just for the hell of it, but they do show enough of the regular Titans to be freaked out by what they are capable of. By the end of that episode, you are shocked, appalled, and disturbed by the destruction, but ultimately, you're sympathetic to Eren and what he now has to do, and that's wreck some Titans. As you might expect, with the manga that's finished with almost 140 chapters and an anime with 87 episodes and counting, the story grows to become more than just laying waste to Titans. I would be selling it short to say that the plot devolves into, well, actually the real monsters are the humans, but yeah, the humans in charge are just as messed up as the Titans in their own classist, racist, and fascist ways. You'll root for certain characters, turn on them, and maybe root for them again, but it's how we get to those revelations and plot twists that make Attack on Titan a worthwhile read and watch. Oh, and the action is some of the best the genre has to offer. The Survey Corps' primary mode of fighting the Titans are gadgets attached to their bodies that allow them to zip through short distances in all directions, giving them heads up against the typically slow and prodding Titans. Think Spider-Man taking on a Sentinel, and the weak spot is, darn it, almost did it again. Anyway, when the anime follows one character, usually Mikasa or Captain Levi, there is an elegance to the animation as they flawlessly use their gear and the surroundings around them to tactically mow down Titans with violent efficiency. If you're not the squeamish type and can handle a lot of blood with the occasional guts thrown in there, you'll be able to handle the more visceral parts of the show. And if you're caught up with the anime, you're probably wondering about the timing of this show's release. 1 week after the end of Season 4, Part 2. When Season 4 was announced as a finale in late 2020, many thought that we would get the conclusion of the story around this time last year. But as the episodes dwindled down, it was becoming clear that there would either be a movie or a part 2 to finish the series a la Game of Thrones. And then as Season 4 Part 2 drew to a close, fans were frustrated once more as Season 4 Part 3 was revealed. So here we are now, waiting another year for a finale that could get stretched out once more. Bait didn't purposely release the shoes to line up with the anime. It was merely a coincidence, and they definitely didn't know that there would be a part 3. Call it just the realities of doing a multi-tiered collab and basically shipping issues in a pandemic. All right. So I know that was a lot and a bit of a deep dive, and I hope that you enjoyed this unboxing of the Bait Attack on Titan ADIDAS Ultra Boost and my spoiler-free walkthrough of the show. Anybody can rock these, fans of the show or not, but make no mistake, Attack on Titan is one of the most popular anime of all time. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.